Do you enjoy taking trips to the beach, hiking through the hills, maybe fishing or swimming? How about beaches covered in bottles and candy wrappers, hills full of discarded plastic packaging, or fishing for bottle caps instead of bass? Hello, my name is Baker King, and I would like to share my research with you today on why we should switch from plastics that hurt our planet and start using things that are more eco-friendly. According to ScienceMuseum.org, the first fully synthetic plastic was invented by a Belgian-American chemist named Leo Beekland in 1907. This was a groundbreaking invention. It was cheap, easy to produce, lightweight, flexible, and would be used in almost everything. But I doubt Leo knew the unintended consequences of this brilliant invention. As you can see from this graph, the amount of plastic waste produced each year starting in the early 1960s continues to grow at an alarming rate, and today is at about 6.3 billion tons and rising if we don't do anything to stop it. But where does it all go after we throw it out? Oceans, landfills, sides of our roads, and driveways. Plastic, depending on its type, can take anywhere from 50 to 600 years to decompose. That means everything ever made from plastic starting in 1907 to today, if thrown into a landfill, is most likely still there right now and will be for a long time. Even when these plastics do start to break down, they release harmful chemicals along with microplastics that get washed off of landfills and into bodies of water such as lakes, rivers, and oceans. These microplastics then are consumed by both aquatic and land animals, including ourselves. This might not have any major effects on our bodies right now, but according to PNAS.org, small amounts of microplastics that get into our system can cause cell death. This affects animals who continue to consume microplastics either through the water they drink or from packaging all of our food comes in. Another negative effect of plastic waste is how it has been affecting our marine life. There is over 269,000 tons of plastic and microplastic in our oceans, according to condorferry.com, between 2020 and 2021. These plastics polluting our oceans are making it harder for natural marine ecosystems to thrive at their full potential. Animals such as turtles, who make the mistake of plastic bags for their favorite meal, jellyfish, cause the turtles to choke and die, or perhaps just lose a meal. This lack of food and even death decreases the number of turtles that will repopulate, thus decreasing the population as a whole. The same can be said for hundreds, if not thousands, of other species of marine life affected by the plastic waste in their homes. How do we solve this problem? The answer isn't as easy as just stop using plastic altogether. I mean, how could we? Plastic is in everything. But what we can do is stop producing cheap disposable plastic like grocery bags, detergent containers, water bottles, etc. If you have to use plastic, get something that is going to last a long time, because it'll take a long time to decompose after your single use. This first step of stopping meaningless plastic is great, but now you're probably wondering what you should use to replace some of those things that you buy on a regular basis. Some examples could be using a metal water bottle and refilling it. This will take out the plastic component, decrease how much you spend on water bottles at the store, keep your drinks colder or warmer for long periods of time, and if you do end up getting rid of it one day, it is a lot easier to recycle metal and will be turned into another water bottle for somebody else to use. Another example is using True Earth detergent sheets. These come in a completely plastic-free packaging, making it easier to recycle than brands like Tide, whose big, ugly, goop-filled containers make their products almost impossible to recycle. There are so many other great ways to decrease your plastic use, like using fabric-based reusable grocery bags or decomposable trash bags or doggy bags. I encourage you all to take a minute to think about all of the plastic you use on a daily basis and ask yourself, is there a way I can be using something other than plastic? If the answer is yes, start doing it. So you heard me use the magic R word in there a few times, recycle. Well, the reason this wasn't the first thing that I brought up is because unfortunately our systems for recycling are significantly less effective than you would hope them to be. Most of our recycled plastic just ends up in a landfill anyway. How can we fix that? Now that you're using less plastic, you should in turn have less plastic that needs to be recycled. The plastic you do still have to recycle, be mindful of. If you bring in things like to-go cups, snack wrappers, or bottles, it is best to remove caps, tabs, straws, and lids. These are often made of different plastics, and separating them before recycling makes it easier for the people and machines in charge of repurposing them to separate and melt them down with other similar plastics. Now that you have minimized your plastic usage and maybe convinced your family and friends to do the same, but there is still one more problem. All of the fish are still swimming around in almost 300,000 tons of plastic. This is a big problem and really hard to fix, considering most of it is microplastics and can't just be picked up and taken out of the water. But luckily for you, there is someone out there who has already found the solution for this problem. 27-year-old Boyan Slat, a Dutch inventor and the CEO of the Ocean Cleanup, a nonprofit dedicated to cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch the size of Texas, just off the coast of California, has created a system where two boats drag a big net between them, collecting plastic and trash. His efforts have helped the oceans tremendously, but there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. By donating to the Ocean Cleanup, you can help them to continue this endeavor. But where does it all come from? Slat says rivers. Rivers are like arteries. When it rains, trash washes it from streets to creeks to rivers and into the ocean. Another way you can help is to launch your own cleanup of your local creek or river along with the members of your community to prevent the plastic from making its way to the ocean. Imagine all the great that this can do.